What time is it? Damn time! Woo!
What up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love, PDubs, MichaelB The Game Genie, and 19K Fox filling in for Restalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Let's get it started.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, as always, for joining the Friday Funhouse and tuning in to the Super Game Room Dudes, your favorite arcade and gaming podcast show. We greatly appreciate your guys' support. Hey, if you're just coming from the Retro Buzz, welcome to the show. We appreciate you guys sending some viewers our way. I got back-to-back Jacks, the Retro Buzz, followed by the Super Game Room Dudes on Friday nights. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the viewers, man. That's a pretty good Friday night lineup. Joining me as always, Detroit Love, MichaelB The Game Genie, and 19K Fox. Fox, I think we have an echo. Do you have like an extra window open? Or is that Detroit Love?
That's not me.
No, Fox, you got to get headphones, brother.
Before we get going here, we got a $5 super chat from Ezekiel. What's up, Super Game Room Dudes and Fox? Love you guys. Thanks so much for that super chat. We greatly appreciate it. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar of who 19K Fox is, his link is in the video description below. He does have a YouTube channel, and he's a smaller, up and coming. And I figured you could kind of introduce people and tell people about who you are and your channel and all that kinds of stuff, and then we'll dive into the show. What do you got for us?
Well, besides the echo, I have a decent channel with some content. I do a lot of Arcade1up reviews. Obviously, it's kind of the focus of my channel. Do a lot of modding also. And if any of that sort of interests you, swing by, check it out. And if you see what you like, consider subscribing. PDubs, thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem whatsoever. Hang on a minute. I got some, we're getting a little bit of audio issues. My apologies, guys. By the way, make sure you guys check out his channel and go check out his most recent video about this 6-player X-Men build. You want to kind of tell people what you were doing here, because this was pretty impressive what you came up with. Not only are you technical when it comes to arcade modding, but you're a woodworker as well.
Well, thanks. I kind of started with that, with the sort of the the carpentry and all that. And the basic premise of this was to kind of take something that you take one of your old Arcade1ups and then you modify it so that it fits in with the rest of your collection. And it's one thing to kind of start from scratch, but if you have a basis, if you have a kind of like a foundation to start from, it's not as intimidating. I know for me, if it's just like, okay, build one from scratch, well, that's kind of rough. That's kind of a daunting task. But this was really just the wide body kit that a lot of other YouTubers have done. Some of them done it way better. But this was just sort of my take on it.
Yeah. How hard was it to make this cabinet, or at least to build the frame. And we'll kind of skip ahead here to the end so people can kind of see what your final design looks like. And also, do you have 5 friends that can come over and actually play this cabinet with you?
Well, I've got some kids and they know people, so they can come over. But we've got 5 or 6 people in the family. The idea with this was basically just take all your stock components, all your cross members, and make it wider. That's really it. I took some liberties when it came to the monitor, or I'm sorry, not the monitor, but the marquee itself. Instead of having 2 pieces, the speaker support panel and the marquee, I wanted to make that one piece. So I kind of got a little creative there. Got some aftermarket speakers instead of the stockers, but for the most part, it's what Arcade1up could build, or what it would look like if they built it.
If they built it last year.
Well, last year, yeah, with the 3rd gen, exactly. Yeah. If they do it this year, I would imagine it would look like that new style, which I think I'm going to theorize that they are making a 6-player version of this.
I think they talked about it, but I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition, because who's going to buy that? I think that would have to be.
I have no idea.
That was something that had to be bought direct. And if they're going to make it arcade accurate, you also have to fit 3 full-size humans in the front onto the control panel. So let's be clear about that.
See, and part 2 is going to be the fun part, figuring that out. Okay, this is all neat and theoretical. It's a 27-inch monitor, for those that are wondering. So you've got a shot there, but you've really got to, I've got to get that correct. That control panel's got to be, that's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging.
You got to find 3 humans and see if you can fit them in.
Full size.
Well,
yes. Yeah.
I mean, that looks pretty awesome. The start of it,
Thank
Jesus wept because he saw my carpentry work. Okay. If you see my my pinball machine up close, it's atrocious. Yeah. So I definitely give hands up to people that can do that, because I have no skills. I do it opposite. What I do, I measure once and cut twice.
Cut twice? You just buy more wood. That's all you got to do. Just buy more wood.
All right, guys, we got some housekeeping items to run through real quick, and then we're going to dive really into the show here. So for starters, we got a $2 super chat from Console Fanboy, 19K Fox. When are you going to hop on Big Blue? Care to answer that for Zohar?
This weekend, I'm going to be on, hopefully Sunday. The Wi-Fi is actually bad in the arcade, this is just the office. The arcade it's got some lag issues, so I want to have no excuses when Zohar beats me.
I like the way you put that. We also got a $5 super chat from Smitty. Can we have this lineup with John D next time with Restalgia, of course? Well, guys, just so you know, I did talk to John D, and he is very interested in coming on for an interview with the Super GameRoom Dudes. In fact, in his words, he said he's willing to boldly walk into the lion's den because he knows PDubs is going to ask him some really tough questions. So John D is all about coming on the show. We're going to have him on probably in the next few weeks. We'll let you guys know when he's going to come on, and hopefully we'll have a really good interview and show prepared for you guys. MichaelB The Game Genie, we appreciate you also helping us get that set up as well. How's it going over there? That hat is just, I can't get over the hat.
I'm Restalgia. I'm filling in for Restalgia tonight. You got to wear a stupid hat slightly askew. And I'm just going to disagree with everybody. Like, as soon as someone says something, I'm going to say, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong, because I'm 29 and I know everything.
I forgot what that feels like.
Yep. And then also, guys, so something interesting happened today, completely unexpected. I logged into my ArcadeNet account last week on AtGames, and I had, as always, a whole ton of friend requests, because a lot of the community for like these contests where you have to add friends, a lot of people send me these friend requests on ArcadeNet. I'm always happy to approve them. Always happy to help you guys try and win some of the prizes and giveaways and things like that. But because I approved all those, their little computer picked me as the winner on the very bottom there. Might be hard to see if you're staring on a phone, but I won the Legends Gamer Mini with a pinball kit with the bonus pinball buttons. I won that this week. So, of course, I told AtGames, I said, I would rather a community member win it. I already have these products. I've already reviewed these products. In fact, guys, I have 3 Legends Gamer Minis in my house. 3 right now. I don't need a 4th. So what we're going to do here is AtGames said, well, why don't you give it away on your channel and we'll ship it to them after you send us the name and address. So that's what we're going to do. When we get to the AtGames section of the show, we'll do a quick trivia giveaway, and one of you could win that Legends Gamer Mini with the bonus pinball kit. So that's pretty cool. So we'll get to that very, very soon. MichaelB The Game Genie, though, wants to kick off the show talking about the Nintendo Direct. There was actually some exciting news, and this may have been one of the best Nintendo Directs they've ever had, in my opinion. MichaelB, this is going to be our version of this week's, what do we like to call this? I think we like to call this console chatter, right?
Console chatter.
All right, arcade news coming up. Let's talk about Nintendo Direct. All right, tell us, MichaelB, about the Nintendo Direct. What is it that got you so hyped?
Just really quickly, I do want to say again to PDubs, like, thank you so much for doing that with the AtGames Legends Gamer Mini. You know, that's really cool of you. I will want to preface the fact that anybody who makes YouTube videos shouldn't automatically give up something they won. You're an influencer in part of the AtGames influencer program. So I know you hate that program, but that's what they call it. So that's what it is.
No, I'm just YouTuber.
No, but you're not a YouTuber, because there's somebody out there that's a YouTuber with 35 subscribers that works at Arby's. And you know what? If he won it, he shouldn't feel that he shouldn't accept it. So
we agree. Wait, Arby's? We agree.
Arby's is great, by the way. It's delicious.
We agreed we wouldn't talk about Detroit Love to his face. We agreed only behind his back. What are you doing?
But you understand what I'm saying. So just be careful on that. Like, you're in a certain position where you didn't feel comfortable. That doesn't mean just because somebody's out there on a YouTube channel, they shouldn't accept it if they win. So let's just be clear on that. And good for you for doing what you're doing. Awesome stuff.
I don't like winning stuff. I like giving away stuff. All right, let's keep going, Mike. We're digressing. Tell me about this Nintendo Direct, my dude.
There was a Nintendo Direct?
Oh my God, come on. Let's go. We only had, dude, if we want to watch AEW, we got 49 minutes. We got to go.
Okay. So here's the deal. The Nintendo Direct was really good. A lot of people were super happy about it. It doesn't take much. Nintendo sometimes forgets that their core audience is guys like me, guys that grew up when they were 5, when the Nintendo came out. They're 40 years old now. They don't want to go ink stuff in Splatoon. Some of the stuff is off that base. They still got young kids, but when they make the older generation happy, people seem to like those directs a lot more. And they did that this time. The big one was, of course, they finally released N64 games on the Nintendo Online service, which is something people have been begging them to do. But then not only that, but they also released Sega Genesis or Mega Drive if you're in Europe on the and Japan too, I think, if you're for the Nintendo Online service. So people are super excited about that. But it comes with a very weird add-on, the fact that it's not just with the Nintendo Direct subscription, it's the expansion pack. So there's a paywall, and some people got their britches in a fire on that. The other one that was really good for retro gamers was ActRaiser. Like, everybody loves ActRaiser, one of the greatest Super Nintendo games of all time. It's beloved. A remake came out of nowhere. No one even heard they were doing this, and it was available immediately. Some people are not very happy with the way it performs. They think the art style and the way it performs is kind of jaggy. And also, it was like $30, which kind of hit people a little bit strange. But so far, people like that. The other one, Metroid Dread, looked great. Nice to see that Bayonetta 3 is in vaporware, and it's actually going to happen after, 9 years now? So Bayonetta 3 is coming out. The rest of the stuff was just more of the same, but overall, people were super happy. I think Nintendo could have just came out and said, hey, guess what, guys? N64 games on online, and just closed it down and had 40 minutes of silence. People still would have said, best direct ever.
19K Fox, are you a Nintendo fan? And do you follow Nintendo Directs and all that kind of stuff? I don't even know.
Not the Nintendo Directs. I think but the 64 really has me excited. That was a great console. Of course, I like almost everybody in the room. It was the original NES. That's where I started. It was Atari, then it was NES, and then the rest is history, right? But in 64, I skipped the Super Nintendo. I was a Sega Genesis guy, but then I went to 64, and I loved it. And only question I had, since I didn't watch it, is GoldenEye in the mix?
No, sadly,
That was
GoldenEye's not in
always
the
the
mix.
thing. Yeah.
But there's hope, brother. There's hope, because I remember seeing earlier in the day, like the surprise was kind of out. We all knew that N64 was going to be released because the recent patent release of the N64 controller. So we knew it was coming. Like, it's one of those things, you expect it, you know it's going to happen, then it happens, and you're like, yeah, it happened. So it happened. We were all very happy with it. But what a lot of people online were saying, the online chatter, was that what does it matter, because the N64 is nothing without Rare's involvement. And not in the original lineup, but they showed the future games for the N64, Banjo-Kazooie. And Rare made a post afterwards that I shared on my Twitter account saying, we're so happy to be back working with Nintendo in this capacity. Banjo-Kazooie is going to be on the system, and it's already on Xbox Game Pass and part of that. I can't remember what it was called, the Rare Collection for Xbox. So that's one step closer. If they're willing to do it, and then the two parties can get together and work with Universal, I think, or MGM has the license to James Bond. If those three parties are willing to work together, ooh, we could get GoldenEye.
Possibilities. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Well, I'm pretty excited about the new Mario Party game because I love the Mario Party games, and my wife and my son, we always sit down and play these together. So the new Mario Party, I'm pretty excited about this. I think these are great games. Carl, you ever play the Mario Party games?
I have never heard of it. You know, I had the same line. I had Atari, ColecoVision. I went to Nintendo, but I was a Sega guy, man. Sega. I did have the Super Nintendo. I did have the Nintendo 64. That was the last one I had before the modern ones came. And my wife sold it at the garage sale, so I was pretty ticked off about it. But the reality of it is, I'm sure if you started shouting out the games that we played, I was a little older than you guys, so I was doing it after work and all these type of things. So I don't have the same attachment to it. But I can't even recall the games that I really, really enjoyed on Nintendo 64. So I would have to have a recap to refresh my memory on what games I enjoyed on that.
Oh man, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is coming out, one of the initial launch games. You've got Super Mario 64. You've got Mario Kart 64. Star Fox 64 is the one I'm super excited for. I love Star Fox 64. I also really screwed up, and probably my favorite thing that they announced that I didn't bring up, and the game that I bought like immediately after I watched the Direct, was the Castlevania collection. So all the Game Boy Advance Castlevania games are released for the Switch yesterday. So it's all that Symphony of the Night Metroidvania style. I had so much fun playing Circle of the Moon last night. I was really happy with that.
And we have our 1 millionth Mario Kart ripoff game. Chocobo GP, same game, different characters. So another one of these. I mean, if you like kart racing games, it's always nice to have another one. But nothing really, beats the best of the best, in my opinion. So, well,
they're going to have interesting mechanics. Like they talked about it. Like if you can get 3 fire spells in a row, then you can do the advanced fire spell Viagra. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's right. That's correct. Yeah.
It's Viagra. That's what happens with 3 fire spells, and the third Fire Aga. I think I said it right that time. So, they're going to put a Final Fantasy twist on it. So it could be fun. I mean, I played Sonic Racing Transform. That was fun too. Crash. What was that? Crash Nitro Kart. Yeah. Like all that shit is fun. So yeah.
So I think Crash Bandicoot is probably the game I played. And then the guy that his body kind of floats around. I don't know what the name of that game was. But yeah, I remember, because then Sony came out, so all that stuff never mattered after that.
What else, Mike? I mean, we got the new Diablo game coming. We got Breath of the Wild 2.
They didn't cover Breath of the Wild 2 at all yesterday.
Well, I know, but it's coming in, what is that, like
so
December?
Metroid Dread is coming in 2 weeks, and I'm so excited about that. They showed an excellent preview video that looks like it's going to be fun. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is Samus Aran's character is so small. So she's like minuscule, and I'm so used to Samus being so big, but I understand why. You can show more of the background and the playstyle. The other one that was really interesting was the new Kirby game. So instead of them doing the traditional 2D Kirby like we've got so much lately, we're getting a 3D Kirby game, which is the first time since Kirby and the Crystal Shards on the N64. The only thing is it's Kirby, and I can't remember the title, but I just call it Kirby Last of Us Part 3. That's what it looks like. Because he's in this desolate wasteland. And, when I think Kirby, I don't think like, happy sugar time graphics like a cute 'em up. I think desolate wasteland, post-apocalyptic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Kirby to a T.
Always nice to see a new 3D open world type Kirby game coming out. So that's pretty cool. Mike, are we ready to switch gears now and chat real quick about the iArcade before we do our giveaway?
Soulless Sweet, thank you very much for telling me. I was worried about that. Let me go in and turn down my mic for you, my man.
Are you screaming at the audience again?
Apparently. Well, I asked 19K Fox before the show, and he told me my audio was fine. He is trying to set me up for failure.
Maybe
so
if I had headphones, it would have been louder.
That's true.
There you
That's
go.
the thing.
All right, guys, that's enough for console chatter. Let's move over and find out what's up with iArcade. Okay, so not a whole heck of a lot going on with iArcade and AtGames. The bulk of the show here, we're going to be talking about Arcade1up with 19K Fox, because I definitely want 19K Fox to tell us about his thoughts about these new cabinets and all this stuff coming out from Arcade1up. But iArcade, the Mutant Football League game, has been officially delayed, right? Like it's on like an official delay. We don't know when it's coming. We're hoping the third-party software company will work with us to release the game. That's the statement from iArcade. Hopefully that'll be happening in the coming months. If you did order a Mutant Football League cabinet, if you wanted, you could contact iArcade and switch it to a different cabinet, like Retromania, Dragon's Lair, all that kinds of stuff. Or you could keep, they're going to ship the MFL cabinets, but you only have until what, October 1st, Mike? That they're going to honor those orders. And then when the game comes, eventually the game will be sent out, right, to those people who own that cabinet, right? So you're going to get the cabinet with the artwork, but not the game. So what do you think about that, Detroit Love? Do you think they should have scrapped the whole thing, or do you think it's okay that Zhang is trying to give people something? What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean that was just a tough break for the company for that thing to be delayed. A lot of people were pretty excited about it. So yeah, I think he did the right thing in trying to get something to appease people for now. But I really hope they can get that thing together because people are pretty excited about it.
What about you, Michael B? What do you think about this whole MFL stuff that they've been going through that Zhang has been struggling with?
Dude, I think it sucks. Like, I think it sucks for Zhang because like he's such a good dude. And I mean, this is completely out of his hands. He did everything right. He's working with the company right. And they put so much money and so much effort into the announcement for this. They did everything right. And it sucks that this third-party company with this coding is basically taken this from iiRcade. I know that a bunch of people I know bought iiRcade cabinets, not just the one with Mutant League Football or Mutant Football League. I always get those mixed up. They bought them just for that game, and it sucks now because they're upset and it's completely out of their hands. I'd love to see it. Nothing is over. I know it's indefinite. Indefinite's a weird thing. I was with a girl one time, my ex-girlfriend, and she said, we need to take a break. And I said, for how long? She said, indefinite. And we never got back together. So take that for what it is.
We were on a break. Hey, Fox, what do you think of the iArcade brand? I don't think I've ever heard you speak about it myself.
Well, I don't have one, so it's easy to say I don't care. But for me, actually, games like this, that was moving the needle for me. I mean, this kind of stuff gets you interested because I think there's a lot to be said about having a multicade as part of your collection. Just sort of scratch the itch of the newer games or maybe the games that, Arcade1up doesn't have yet. And I also think it sucks. I mean, I hate it for everybody who has one that was jonesing for that Mutant Football League goodness, and it sucks. So it does appear that they did everything right. It's easy to kind of Monday morning quarterback and say, well, you should have done this, you should have done that, and maybe there's something they should have done. But at the end of the day, it just sucks because I think the fans lose out.
Yeah,
that's who really loses. And Zhang, mostly Zhang, but the fans.
Yeah,
too.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, real shame about that. And we'll have to, as we hear more updates, we'll keep you guys posted as they come in. When it comes to games being released, they did release a new game on their store this week or within the last couple of days called Knights and Guns. And when you're talking about, hey, we want to get some new games on the iArcade platform, this is a game that was just released on the Switch on September 18th. And here we are, less than a week later, this game comes out on the iArcade. Now, keep in mind, this is obviously more of an indie game, not one of these big AAA titles type things. So it might be easier to do this. Like, for instance, Mayhem Brawler just came out less than a month ago on Steam, Switch, other platforms, and it's going to be coming out here on the iArcade very, very soon. Very soon. So, it's nice to see that kind of speed. It's not like these games are being released brand new somewhere else, and you're waiting 9 months, a year, 2 years to get them on the iArcade. Let's take a quick look. I won't play the entire trailer. It is about 60 seconds, but let's take a look at Knights and Guns, and I'll tell you why I did purchase this game on the cabinet today.
Peggy 16.
Hi, we're Baltoro.
And this is a teaser of our next game.
So, you're a knight with a gun.
Lots of guns.
And here is a but.
The only way you can shoot is up.
Knights and Guns.
There you go. Knights and Guns. Detroit Love, what do you think about that game? We'll go around the horn. What are your thoughts on it?
It looks interesting. I've never heard of it before. It looks like something I would play on the iPad. So, like I said, I prefer to play on the arcade sticks as opposed to touch the screen. But I'm looking forward to see what it's all about. Only way you can shoot is up. It looked like it's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at you. That might be too advanced for me.
You gotta like trailers that do that they try to make it as out of this world exciting as possible. Fox, what do you think about games like that? Are those games your style at all?
Well, I think anything that includes a Matrix reference in the trailer I'm all about that. Yeah, it's funny that Detroit Love, you say that. It's like there is this weird fine line between the mobile game space where they're trying to market these games and also bringing those home to the consoles and try to get some of that console love too. But what game feels better swiping, like Fruit Ninja versus, I need something with controls. I need that, Streets of Rage 4 action, that clear defining line. What's that? So for me, yeah, if it's got that mobile game feel, I think I'll put it on the iPad first, check it out. Not necessarily needing to get that on a console, but it's interesting. I mean, I love chaos games, lots of shooters, lots of stuff on screen.
Yep.
I like that. That's fun. Raiden 2 is one of my favorite games.
Yeah, and that game, at least, you're going left and right. You're shooting straight up. There's only one way you can shoot. So it seems like a no-brainer for the platform. As opposed to a game I like playing on the iPad is the Plants and Zombies.
I love Plants vs. Zombies.
That's a game that's clearly made for touch and clear. You can't play that on the arcade. But the games that you can play on arcade, I definitely enjoy that platform.
Right.
Did you just say Raiden or Raiden?
Raiden.
I think it's pronounced Raiden.
Oh my!
In Texas, we pronounce it however the hell we want to, and
that's the Taito argument. Nobody.
No, it really is.
Nobody cares.
My friend, dude, you haven't played this game, has a show called Gaming Linguistics, and I insist that everybody goes watch his stuff because he will tell you the appropriate way to say names in gaming, and nobody takes more emphasis in that than I do when I say Mario.
Hey, Smitty, NBA Jams is that's my grandson's cabinet, so I don't even turn the thing on. So,
you don't know your handle?
I'm pretty sure it's Detroit Love, but I'm not 100% sure.
It is Detroit Love because we played against you.
Yeah, it should
You've
be Detroit
done it
Love,
live.
but you'll probably never catch me on it because I'll be shipping over to Canada pretty soon.
Yep. Mike is the grammar police tonight.
Oh, Dr. Freeman, I also have to apologize to you. I know I'm trying to stop saying iiRcade. It's iiRcade. I get it now. iiRcade. I'm trying to stop. It's so hard.
Is it hard or hard?
Now, to kind of make up for, some of the bad news that iArcade has unfortunately had to deliver to their community, Jong is promising that on Tuesday there is a big announcement. A game will launch that they've previously announced. A game, one of the bigger titles that a lot of people have been waiting for, will be launched on Tuesday next week. So make sure you tune into Jong's show on Tuesday. We're not allowed to reveal the name, but we can tell you it's one of the bigger titles that they've announced that a lot of folks are excited and waiting for to go live in the store. So make sure you guys tune into their show. And that pretty much wraps up iArcade. There's not a whole heck of a lot going on with iArcade.
Yes, there is. Yes, there
What?
is. Scanline fever.
Okay. Yeah, you tell people about it. Go ahead.
So I don't know the full story. You're going to have to correct me on this, but apparently Jong is bringing scan lines to the retro games on the iArcade. Sorry, I did it again. iArcade.
Fine.
So I've been advocating very heavily for Jong to go back in because we all know there's this smoothing filter on the retro games. Jong explained it. He thought the sharp pixels made it look outdated, so he went with the smoothing filter, and they said they were going to change that. But instead of going in that direction, now we're adding scan lines to games, which seems to be an in-cabinet feature. So I thought that was an odd choice to go with scan lines over the smoothing filter instead of just removing the smoothing filter.
Yeah. 19K Fox, what is your feeling on playing retro games? They have smoothing effects, or does it not even bother you because they put those on these LCD monitors? Or do you prefer pixel perfect? Do you like scan lines? How do you like to play your retro games?
It depends on the game. Some of the scanline effects just look like stripes on the screen, and I just don't get it. I don't know. It's kind of tough to fool your eye. You understand, I think your brain does at least, that this is not a domed surface. This is not a CRT. So to kind of emulate that in some way doesn't always work. Some companies do better than others. And I do like some of those effects. But I think, honestly, for me, I do always try the scan lines, but I usually just turn them off. Pixel perfect is probably the best way to do it. You can try to get yourself used to squishing an image down or stretching it out, but I just prefer the way I saw it originally in the arcade. Pixel perfect is definitely the way to go. Even if it doesn't fit the screen perfectly, I'll still play that any day.
Michael from iArcade, I did it again. Michael from iArcade is here in the chat, and he said it's both, so I didn't catch that. So are we getting scan lines plus removing the smoothing so I can see my sharp pixels?
Yeah, guys, Michael Light is one of the quality control and engineers over with iArcade. He's in the live chat. Thanks for joining our show. Michael, are we getting smoothing effect options as well as scan lines? Let us know in the live chat. In my opinion, I think the smoothing features needed to be removed before scan lines got added, but I'll take both. The more options, the better. While we're waiting for his reply, Smitty gave us a $5 super chat. 19K Fox, 6-player X-Men project. Wow, talk about that. There you go. Guys, let me know if you guys see Michael's answer, because the live chat's really flying right now. Let me know if you guys see it pop up. What else is going on in the hopper with iArcade? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, my opinion, again, I'd rather have the smoothing. I want pixel perfect. Like, I really do. It's just all I want. I think it would really just help those retro games really pop on that 19-inch monitor. Detroit Love, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what iArcade has done with it. So to be able to turn those things off will be great for me, because it's just not doing it for me.
Okay. And guys, Michael from iArcade just confirmed in our live chat they're working on getting us both options. Let's hope in that firmware update we see both of those options. Michael, I'm sure the gaming community would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, guys, let's head over and let's talk about AtGames. Not a whole lot going on with AtGames this week. We're going to fly through this. And then 19K Fox, we're going to talk all about Big Blue and all these Arcade1up cabinets that you've been covering on your channel. Let's talk about AtGames. Have they given us the ultimate updates? So I took a look at the firmware notes for this week, and here's what I got to say, guys, is for the last about 3 to 4 weeks, a piece of feedback that content creators on YouTube, as well as people in their Reddits, Facebooks, Discord channels, a lot of people have been telling AtGames, hey, AtGames, your known issues list is growing, and it's getting ridiculously long. So long that they actually had to remove it from the firmware notes and give the known issues its own web page. And what I'm happy to see is last week, at least like 10 issues got resolved. And then also, if you take a look at this week's firmware notes, once again, they didn't go crazy adding all wonky features and changing things around. They pretty much just hopped in there and they fixed a bunch of known issues. So you're talking another like 6, 7, 8 issues got resolved in this firmware update. So I'm very happy to see that. Very happy to see that AtGames is listening to the community feedback, slowing down on all these crazy new features they always keep adding and getting the firmware stable. Detroit Love, do you think they're doing the right thing now, listening to the fans? Or should they just keep giving us all kinds of, turn our arcade machine into a toaster that drives your car?
I miss having my long list to look at and ponder when it's going to change. I love it. I love that they're able to update and that they update often. I mean, every time I turn on the games, I got updates. So I have to go through the update dance. But I'm glad they're knocking them off. I know you were pretty hot about that last week, so somebody heard you over there. You wanted
Everybody
that
was
done,
hot.
and you wanted it now. So look like you got 10 of them now. Next week you'll get 10 more. I never look at the list. That's just one more part of the game for me as they update and the list comes up and I scroll down and hit okay. I never read them. Whatever happens is I love to be surprised about it because I don't look for them. It's just not one thing I do. I'm trying to get into the game I want to play and get going. So it doesn't bother me. I don't look at the list like you do and watch it grow and all that stuff. It's just not. I don't have time. When I come on, I don't even look for the high scores like you guys do. I come on, I play the game I want to play, and then I get back outdoors. So it's not something that really bugged me at all. So,
Well, 19K Fox, do you own any AtGames products? Any of their game, like their arcade fight sticks, the Gamer Pro, Gamer Mini, or any of their arcade machines or anything like that?
Nothing of the new stuff. I've had some other AtGames products that I didn't have a good experience with. So,
Are you talking about the back in the day products, the old?
Yeah,
Flash
we'll call them the back in the
blast-
day. This is it's almost not fair to call them AtGames products. I will acknowledge fully they're not what they're making now. The pinball machine is really what I'm jazzed for the most. I'm waiting to pull the trigger on that. Maybe if Arcade1up will slow down just a bit, I can jump over and grab one of those. But yeah, because I love they do something that no one else does that I like. I like this swapping out the control decks. I like this versatility, this flexibility. That if you had that big 32-inch screen that's not 720p, it's actually full HD, and you could do something with that besides just pinball. Which pinball's awesome, pinball's great. But if I'm a big fan of Raiden. Raiden, however you say it. It's with those shooters. I want to play a shooter on that. I am jonesing to play a shooter on that. That would be badass.
It is badass.
So if there's anything that I'm going to jump on, I was kind of iffy about the Mini, but I think when I do, because it's going to happen, I'm going to pull the trigger on the pinball.
Yep. Hey guys, one of our favorite followers of the channels here. Everyone in the live chat, say hi to Juicy Time. Juicy Time has got the best YouTube handle in the world. We love.
Is it a good time? Nah, man, it's a juicy time.
It's a juicy time. We literally talk about Juicy Time like 2 a.m. We'll text each other. I wonder what Juicy Time's doing because we just love Juicy Times so much. All right. Besides that, let's do a pinball giveaway. So not pinball giveaway. Hold on.
Whoa, big money. Go ahead, baby.
Backspace, select all, delete. Guys, we're going to give away a Legends Gamer Mini with bonus pinball kit. And we're going to do it right now. We're going to ask a trivia question in the live chat. And the reason why is we weren't really prepared for this. AtGames and I were talking today because I won that thing. And I was like, you can just give it to someone else. And they're like, well, how about you just give it away on your show and we'll ship it for you. Just tell us who wins. And I said, that's a better idea. So I got to say, the Super GameRoom Dudes, if there's one thing we suck at, it's giveaways. We've been doing this trivia and giveaways. And I recently did a stream with Kongs R Us. Make sure you guys check out his channel where he did this awesome Wheel of Names thing where he put all the people's names in and stuff. I didn't have time to set that up. Never set it up before, but we're going to do stuff like that on future giveaways But tonight's going to be the hot mess that you know and love. So let's get to it. MichaelB The Game Genie, you got a trivia question for the chat.
I do.
Fastest fingers wins.
Yep.
And let's see who's going to win a Legends Gamer Mini with bonus pinball button kit. Guys, get ready. Get your fingers ready. MichaelB, ask the question.
So in my review of the AtGames Legends Ultimate 1.1 cab, I brought up the fact that people are always critical of the cabinet, saying it doesn't have any good games. But I did counter with the reference that it actually had every game on 4 Arcade1up cabinets in one cabinet. Can you tell me what 4 Arcade1up cabinets games are on the Legends Ultimate 1.1?
That's a really good question. Way to go. All right. You want to put it in the private chat here? Because I think I know 3 of them.
Stock games on the 1.1, not with your naughty sticks and all that other foolishness.
Look at Chris. What is yellow? All right, guys. What 4 Arcade1up cabinets from a little while ago have all of their games are included on the Legends Ultimate arcade machine as part of those 350?
Oh,
all right.
Matthew C. Close. So close, brother. Oh, wait
what about
David?
What about, is David correct?
Nope.
David is not correct. All right, let's
it's
go.
Just the 4. It's just the 4 cabinets. Just the 4 cabinets.
Just the 4 cabinets. All right, so that's wrong. What about this one, Tom? Mike, are you looking?
Nope, that's not right.
It's Gallagher.
That's not right.
No, that's not it as well. Come on. See, this is the hot mess that we all know and love. We'll get better at these giveaways starting next week.
I don't think it's any worse than my giveaways.
No, it was the 4 cabinets I mentioned in my review, guys. Okay.
This looks right. Are you sure that's not right?
Nope, that's not right, because Millipede never had a cabinet.
Oh, that's right. Millipede didn't have a cabinet. All right, wait a minute.
Nope,
no, because they don't have Pac-Man, guys. All right, Mike, you just screwed this whole thing up.
I know.
You made it too hard because now we're looking for 4 answers.
Glenn's got it.
All right, there you go. Glenn's Retro Show got it. All right. So this is going to go from one YouTuber to another. All right, Glenn's Retro. You know what? And honestly, considering Glenn lost so much in that flood, I almost couldn't think of a better person for this to go to. So, Glenn, you'll get that Legends Legends Gamer Mini with bonus pinball kit. God, that's a mouthful to say.
It sounds like he's going to get both of them with all that going on.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, everyone say congrats to Glenn's Retro Show. Oh, wait. Oh, come on, Glenn. Well, all right. He says he wants to.
Devil Waldo says his was before Glenn. Did Devil Waldo have it?
Let's give it to Devil Waldo then.
Well, I got to confirm that he had it.
Check the live chat. Oh, wait, here it is.
Yep, Devil Waldo.
All right, guys. Devil Waldo's our winner. Woo! We got that done there. All right. Thanks so much, Glenn. Even though Devil Waldo won and you didn't, but thanks for passing it to him anyway, Glenn. Thanks for being a good sport. Devil Waldo, do me a favor. Send me an email to pdubsarcadeloft@gmail.com. Confirm your name, shipping address, phone number, all that stuff, so I can give it to AtGames and they can get you your product sent out to you. pdubsarcadeloft@gmail.com. Everyone say congrats to Devil Waldo. And that pretty much wraps up what's going on with AtGames. There's not it's been kind of a slow news week for those 2 brands, AtGames and iiRcade. There's not a whole heck of a lot to report on. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get these comments off screen.
Well, I mean, it's the nature of their business, too. I mean, like iiRcade is more along the lines of, they're not going to come out with a new cabinet every couple of weeks. What they're going to have is firmware updates, and they're going to have new games coming out. So, with iiRcade, I'm sure there's something really cool coming out very soon, maybe even next week. And with AtGames, I mean, AtGames is not in a place right now where they're really releasing a lot of games. They have their existing system and hardware, and that's kind of it. Until something new comes out, like the racing cabinet or the Legends Ultimate Mini, there's not really a lot to talk about. So it is what it is.
Yep. All right, dudes. Let's move on and let's talk about Arcade1up. And you'll notice that 19K Fox just got super excited. He straightened up in his chair. His hair got a little bit more straight. He's ready to talk about Arcade1up, guys. So let's see what's up with Arcade1up. All right, 19K Fox, I'm going to want your opinion on the latest.
Is this when we talk about
sorry.
the little powder blue?
Yeah, I'm going off track here. So the BYOL contest, we didn't mention that. That was on Kong Zaros channel last night. Go subscribe to Kong Zaros. That should also be on the AtGames channel. I don't know why they're not doing that. But Canada Phil is one of the participants. Everybody, go root for Canada Phil and go check out BYOL.
There you go. There you go. Build Your Own Legends contest, Kong's channel every Thursday. Make sure you guys check it out. Are you ready, Mike?
No, I'm fine. I'm sorry.
Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure? I want to be sure. All right, All right, had to do that just to be obnoxious. 19K Fox.
Yes.
The newest cabinet available for purchase that you could actually purchase, place your orders today or pre-order, I don't know what you want to call it, was the Class of 1981 cabinet. I'm going to play this little clip. At 19K Fox, the community wants to know what you think about this cabinet. All right, guys, what do you think of the Class of 1981? Start throwing that in the live chat. We're going to kick it off with 19K Fox. What do you think about this cabinet? Did you order one? Are you into this? What's going on?
I mean, I think that right off the bat, you missed the boat. The cheapest way to get into Arcade1up is actually the $7.99 plushy grab bag, mystery bag. And I actually unboxed one. And to no surprise, it was a Pac-Man.
No kidding. There you go. So now you're in the family, right?
And this is all it takes, kids. That's all it takes. So
if you were to talk about this cabinet,
if we were going to talk about the actual cabinet that was released, it's pre-ordered. If we're going to go that route, if you got to go that way, if you own no other cabinet, yes, by all means, go ahead and grab it. Sure. There's no way in hell I'm going to get one. There's just no way in hell I'm going to get one. It doesn't make any sense on God's green earth why I would get one. If you want to get one, great. But, I was looking at this. If you run down the list, I mean, you can get half these games on the Legacy for $449, $400, depending on where you can pick this up on sale. I mean, it's funny. The Namco Legacy is the one that fluctuates on prices like crazy. I mean, it'll pop up on Walmart for $3.99 sometimes. It's just crazy. And you think it's the one without the riser. No, it's actually the one with the riser and the lit marquee. What if let's just speculate. Let's just throw it out there. I think a likely scenario is somebody picked up Miss Pac-Man when it was cheap, when it was like $2.99. And then maybe they bought, the Legacy when it was like $3.99. So you've already spent $600-700 on those two cabs. You've got the majority of these games. You've got 7 of these games already, unless you're really into Rally X, which you can get on the Super Pac-Man Countercade, Rolling Thunder, King and Balloon. I mean, I just don't. I don't know what they're thinking with the price scheme, because when we're talking about Wi-Fi, it's just leaderboards. Now, if we could all be ghosts in Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and we're now trying to get Miss Pac-Man. Now you got something Arcade1up, but if it's just leaderboards, I don't think it's going to be as fun as co-op play. I just don't get it. So, but to each his own. If you don't have any other Arcade1up products, if you're jonesing for some kind of Namco experience, if you love the artwork, that's great. But bear in mind, this is really just a compilation of ROMs they already have. This is not that true 1988 or 81 ROM. It's not the actual ROM where you can unlock the secrets. So as a homage to an original, that's great. But once we start blurring that line and saying this is actually a recreation, now it gets a little dicey. You're going to have some people kind of ticked off.
Yeah. So I released a video on my channel earlier today, and that video is doing really well so far. So thanks all of you who saw that about this cabinet. And let me tell you guys a little backstory about this. So when the cabinet went live for pre-order, what was it, yesterday or the day before? and we saw the price. Like the price was confirmed. Like we always hear the rumored price, but until I see it on a website listing and it's active, like we don't know the price. So when I saw it was $5.99, no stool, and some of it's rehashed stuff, I immediately had a hot take on it. Right? I was like, "Oh no, this is crap. I don't want to buy this cabinet. Forget this. Screw this. It's a mess. Blah blah blah." But then I say, you know what? Instead of doing these hot take video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and spend a little time, think about, and say, if I was to buy the cabinet, what are the 5 reasons I should buy the cabinet? And what are the 5 reasons I should not buy the cabinet? And I posted that video on my solo channel, PDubs Arcade Loft, today. That video is doing really well. And that was actually, for me, a very good therapeutic and educational way to look at these purchases. What I can tell you is, although at the end of the video, I didn't tell you whether or not I was going to buy this cabinet, I can go ahead and tell you guys that now. The answer is no, I'm not going to buy this cabinet because the price tag is killing it for me. And I think it's killing it for a lot of people as well. $600 for, a bunch of Bandai Namco games. And also you're missing some of the other features that they gave you to bump the price up, right? Like a stool and things like that. So where's my tin sign, Michael B? You know what I mean? So I'm not going to purchase this cabinet, but I did try to give you guys an informative video earlier today. Michael B, what do you think about this cabinet? Oh, wait, before you do that, $5 super chat from Smitty. Reskin it. Easy solution. Way too money. Makes no sense. All right. Thanks for the super chat. Go ahead, Mike.
So something I want to get out of the way. If you could bring up Arcade Amy's comment from 11:19 p.m. Amy, I think you're a new viewer to the Super GameRoom Dudes, but Detroit Love many times has left our show in the middle of the show because he has to go pick up his child at a fast food restaurant, and typically it's Arby's. So it's a long-standing backwards joke that we do about Detroit Love always being at Arby's. So that's why he has the Arby's background there. In terms of the class of 1981, let's call a spade a spade. We all saw the leaks that came out around January, and we knew they were making a 40th anniversary Miss Pac-Man Legacy cabinet. And Arcade1up does a pretty good job of pivoting to listen to their fans. And a very easy way to pivot on this one was to reskin it class of 1981, because that's the arcade most people wanted. So I know it doesn't have the original ROMs. That's because this is not a class of 1981 cabinet. It's a Miss Pac-Man 40th anniversary cabinet. They reskinned to try to give you guys what you wanted. This is not something I'm interested in. I get it. I get the people that are interested in that, but I want a cabinet that either looks like Miss Pac-Man or looks like Galaga. That's what my jam is, because of the way the 3/4 snob. I'm building a recreated 3/4 arcade in my basement.
Mike, we remember from a couple of weeks ago where we ended the show with you telling everyone, I'm only in this for the 3/4 scale arcades. We all remember your official statement.
So let's go back to the price point comment there too. And I said this, and I think some people didn't understand it. Everybody's saying, we don't want the stool. Hey, Arcade1up, guess what? We don't want the stool. I got news for you. That $5.29 Simpsons that came out on Walmart, that was a mistake. Because I'll tell you right here in Canada, we went from X-Men being, I think it's $8.29 with a stool, to Simpsons being $7.99 without a stool. So you're saying $5.99. Oh, how come there's no stool? How come? Because you told them you didn't want stools, and they were trying to do you a favor with the stool because they had to raise the price anyways. That's the reality. And I'm not being an Arcade1up defender right now. I'm just telling you that's the reality. The prices are more expensive for them in order to make their necessary profit margin that they feel they need to make. The prices had to go up, whether you agree with it or not. They were throwing in these extras, whether they were useful or not, like the tin sign, stool, deck protector, whatever else they threw in there, not because they were trying to justify the price or make you spend more money. They were just trying to give you a little bit more value for the new reality and pricing. $5.99 is what these cabs are going to go with right now, with the lit marquee and a riser. So that's what it is. It sucks. They don't want it to be that price, obviously. Because it affects them growing and selling more cabinets. Because how many randoms, not us arcade hardcores, are going to go into Walmart and be like, oh, wow, a $600 arcade toy cabinet recreation. I'm just going to throw this in my cart. Nobody. So they're not going to get many casuals with that. They don't want the price to be that way. This whole situation sucks. But they were trying to make it less sucky by adding in a couple extras. And, even when these cabs come out, they're not going to have the extras. We're going to be about the same price. It sucks.
Detroit Love, do you have a rebuttal or an agreement with Michael B. The Game Genie?
I can agree with some things that everyone said. I mean, I'm not a fan of the slice down the middle per se, but those are two of my favorite games. So, I have the Galaga. I've always wanted the Miss Pac-Man. I got the Miss Pac-Man, the Countercade to suffice that. I wouldn't buy it because I'm a practical shopper, so I already can play those games. So it's not something I would spend money for. But had I not been a modder and had I not modified these things and I was out looking for a cabinet, I think with the game lineup, minus putting on Rolling Thunder, putting a a horizontal game on the vertical screen, I hate that. I like the lineup. So that's the new price set, like Michael's saying.
Mm-hmm.
We all understand that, like it or not, that's where we're going from here on. So I think price, you just got to throw it out the window, because whatever the next cabinet is, Killer Instinct is not going to be $4.99, or what I mean,
$7.99.
right?
$7.99.
Right. So we got to get over the price.
Oh, no,
the price thing.
Canadian pricing. Calm down, guys.
Okay.
But it's not going to be cheaper than that cabinet there, if it doesn't go the way of the iiRcade, where they can't develop this thing, and that's another story for another day. But I like the game lineup. I think it's if I was looking for one cabinet, it's not something that I would pass by in a Walmart store.
You know what we need to do? We need to start giving out an award during our shows for the best comment in the live chat for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, Arcade Amy, brand new fan of the podcast show, with the comment of the night. I almost lost it listening to Carl talk when I read this comment, because the people who work at Arcade1up have little wieners. That was freaking hilarious. A little mean, but that was hilarious when you first read it. Thanks so much, Arcade Amy. Oh, man, that was hilarious. All right.
See, that's how we should give away our stuff from now on. Whenever we got something to give away,
Like,
best comment of the night just gets it.
Best comment of the night. Love it. All right. 19K Fox, on your channel, I'm sure Arcade1up pricing increases, all that kind of stuff has come up. What is your story on this stuff? What are your thoughts on it? Are you on board with the pricing? Do you think it's a little more than what it needs to be? Like, what are your thoughts? And then we're going to move on to the next cabinet. Go ahead, my friend.
Incremental pricing is one thing I think anyone can understand rationally. I mean, you're going to pack in features, you're going to add more games, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to try to broaden that scope. I get $50, I get $100. But when we're talking about the price jump on the pinball machines, when you're talking about $250, that I just can't swallow that. That's insane. That was the real sticker shock. $50 on a legacy cab is one thing. $250 on a pinball machine, that's nuts. But overall, no, I think $5.99 is high as you go, especially when you look at what you're getting with Big Blue for that price point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you know this, 19K Fox, but I drew a line in the sand. PDubs line in the sand is $4.99. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting the Class of 81 cabinet to be $4.99, and the fact that it's $5.99 without that stool, because they add the stool and then the package is $100 more. And then when they sell it at Walmart without the stool, the bundles are usually $100 less, right? But this thing is $5.99 instead of $4.99. I just don't know why. I don't get it. Oh, well, it is what it is. I'm just not going to be buying this cabinet myself personally. But let's move on. So something interesting. I took this off of the Arcade1up Facebook fan page, guys, because those new 2-player countercades are finally shipping out. We've seen renders. And like I've said a million times, guys, we have these hot takes about renders. We really don't know anything until we see what it looks like in real life. So here are our real life photos of what these 2-player countercades look like. And 19K Fox, since you're our guest, could you analyze this for us and tell us what you think about these 2-player countercades that people are now starting to receive?
I can't wait to see this screen in person, because I have no idea what the hell we're in for, guys. I mean, I really don't. The renders were one thing. Obviously, you can't take that with a grain of salt and go on. They were really bad on this new iteration. Was marginally better. I'm talking about the Super Pac-Man that I have with lip marquee. That was slightly better, but I think overall, if I had to guess, it's probably the same damn screen. This is looking kind of rough, and we talked about this before the show started. Those screws and the placement of those screws is a little weird. Usually that's lined up with your side panels. So you bolt your control panel directly to the side panel. We're not doing that here. So I think Carl was like, "Hey, listen, it's probably the piece underneath is bolted to the side panel, and then this is bolted to that." But if you're an Arcade1up fan at all, you know that the bottom of these control decks are just flimsy plastic. So I don't know how this is going to hold up when you got two players banging on this thing. So mine is supposed to be delivered yesterday. So I have no idea when this cabinet's going to show up at my door, but when it does, I'm going to have a full review. We're going to take this thing apart. I'm interested to see what they're doing here.
Yeah. And what do you think about the monitor? The Marvel cabinet's the one you ordered that you're going to be getting. And so it has the 8-inch horizontal monitor. Does it look like the control panel is so big, it just makes the monitor look even smaller than it needs to be?
The control deck looks thicker than some of those original renderings. And obviously I know renderings and that's not reality, but when you look at this, like this picture here, I mean, yeah, it makes it, the problem is sort of exaggerated. I really think that this should have been, and like I said, I don't have my hands on it, I'm not sure, but I think that conventional wisdom would say, make this a single player and then have that USB port on the side for that second player controller, if that's an option you want to do, because that would make more sense. I mean, the symmetry is also kind of off. It seems like that second player button, the 2-player black button should be moved in. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not getting the warm and fuzzy on this one.
Tech Buzz here. Great comment from our good friend Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz. These are our $300 Arcade1ups now, guys. That's what these are right here. Great feedback right there. Michael, let's go Detroit Love. What do you think about these, man? What's your honest reaction to seeing this?
I mean, I've said before, I think the Marvel superheroes is one of the nicest looking cabinets they made for the 3/4 scale size. So I'll be interested to see how this turns out in the real world. Looks like they didn't take that film off that deck protector there. On this picture,
or the bezel. Look, the film is still here, and then this is still here. They didn't peel it. They just they took it out of the box, took a picture of it, posted it on the Facebook group, and I snapped the photo. So go ahead.
Right, I'm not a fan of the games list on the Bono. I'm never a fan of that. But otherwise, I don't think it looks bad. Other than like what Fox said, that second player start button there should be over near the blue colors more. That's kind of weird placement for it. But other than
look at that. Look at how off that looks.
Yeah, that looks kind of weird. It should be inside the screen there. And then someone made a comment previously about the whole balance of it. Will two people banging on this thing fight? This is a fighting game, right? So you're gonna be smashing those buttons. Is this thing gonna tip? Is it balanced? That's what we have to see once people get their hands on it and two people get to playing on it. But I'm a fan of the idea. Again, remember, I used to never be a fan of the Countercades. I love them now, but you get Fox. You have to make sure you put your handle on it now. Make sure you have a handle on it, and
I have to do that.
And it has to have a battery. I don't see the point of having any of these Countercades without being able to literally put it wherever you want to play versus having to look for a cord when you finally do find a counter space that you can play with. So those are some mod ideas. I definitely
excellent
recommend.
mods.
Yeah. Michael B, what are your thoughts on these 2-player Countercades? Now that we're seeing what these actually look like in real life, not a computer render, what are your thoughts?
Can you go back to the picture for a second?
Yep. Go ahead. Start talking.
I'm going to wait.
Oh my God. Okay, here you go. Go ahead.
So I want you to take a look at those button placements where the 2-player is and the 1-player. You'll notice that if they were going to identically place the 2-player, in sequence where it will be right there on the ridge. So what I'm guessing is underneath this plastic control panel, there's a ridge to fit on along the wood, and they wouldn't be able to do the button underneath because it would be on that ridge. So I think we've also answered how it's connected right there.
So you're saying this thing's got a nice slot to it.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You always appreciate a nice slot.
We always appreciate a nice slot. All right, let's talk Big Blue. 19K Fox, you just got your Big Blue cabinet. You did an excellent review on your channel. Start walking us through this cabinet as well as your review And guys in the live chat, if you have Big Blue or if you're thinking about getting Big Blue, let us know your feedback. 19K Fox, take it away, my friend. Tell us all about this thing.
Well, I gotta say right off the bat, I did a hot take, and I thought the thing was ugly. Renderings, I've learned my lesson. I think the renderings, you got to kind of take it, one step at a time there, and just be patient and get the thing in hand, because the blue is a good looking blue. When you get the cabinet assembled, which is a bit of a challenge, not as much of a challenge as I think the legacy cabinets. I think it's actually a step above that. You're not going to have as much of a fight to get the side panels all together that I thought that we were going to have. Once you get it together, assembled, and in your room, especially when you've got it next to multiple cabs, it looks freaking great. I mean, it really does. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. But yeah, see, this is a good point to look at. The stability of it was always in question in my mind. They've done a pretty good job. I've picked this thing up out of the riser several times, moving it around. I've never seen a squeak, a wiggle, nothing. It's pretty well engineered, I got to say.
Yeah. Now, Fox, where they have to extend the panels to make it so much taller.
Yes.
Can you kind of let me know? Because obviously I don't have one of these. You said you were able to move it. It's stable. Like, no worries about them, bracing two boards together. Like, tell me about that.
So when you stack two pieces of wood or really any material on top of itself, you're going to have this tendency for the two to just sort of move around and wiggle, especially being at the base. You've got a shorter piece. So you move this up around, you slide it on the ground. You would expect that to wiggle, but because they have the dowels to locate it, first of all, there's no cams, just dowels. Then you have the metal plates. Then what they do with some of the cross members is actually they split the seam with that 4-inch cross member. So here's your seam here. The 4-inch piece comes in and you have a screw top and bottom. So it really locks in those two this way. It makes it pretty sturdy. I was pretty impressed. So, and when you put this thing together, your I and J panels slide in like the third gen. So you're not having to try to keep those upright while you put the two side panels together. That was a big frustration for me with the legacy cabs. And your the speaker panel is made up of 3 pieces now, so it makes like a U shape. So when you set that into your first side panel, it's very sturdy. So the only thing I'm disappointed with actually is kind of the fact that they just have one small row of LEDs for that big marquee. I think you could have had 2. Maybe even 3, but 3 might have been overkill. But I think 2 LED strips would have made a little more sense. But I think with that light gray color, it's going to look washed out no matter what you do. But I think they could have gone with 2 LED strips for sure.
So, Arcade Amy, I would actually have to agree with this comment about everyone gushing over Big Blue. This was a cabinet that when it was first announced, it looked ridiculous. It looked like a big ice cream scraper or ice scraper for your car. But after everyone started getting this cabinet out in the field, everyone just seems to love it. The only real negative feedback I hear are the speakers aren't that great. The sound system is kind of weak on this one. But this has Wi-Fi, so maybe they can fix that with a software patch and get those speakers, get that volume up to where it needs to be. As well as, of course, the controls suck, but Arcade1up controls always suck because they don't put in premium hardware. And then I've heard a lot of people say that the cabinet is kind of shaky on the riser, like especially if you're like one of those very excitable gamers, right? Cranking away. So, but everyone else seems to really dig this cabinet. How are the games and the online experience, Fox? How are those?
Well, the online experience has suffered from my poor Wi-Fi, so I can't give the cabinet a knock for that. You see right there, this is the clip where the placement of that headphone jack was not thought out at all. I mean, it's really just in your way. It's a wired connection, and you have a wire right there. So that's definitely a negative for sure. But I mean, I
like how you were a little over dramatic filming that scene with that wire. I like how you were really like, this
was like an infomercial, like Home Shopping Network, like, oh, tired of wires getting in your way? Try this.
What's your favorite game to play on the cabinet out of the 12 games?
I'm actually digging the Knights of the Round. I mean, so far that's the one I played through actually a couple times. I love the fact that you can upgrade the armor. I don't think I was aware of that. That's just a hell of a lot of fun. But of course, the negative is it didn't save my my high score.
Yeah, hold on. I want to get your big thumbs up here. Which was pretty fun.
It didn't save your high score on Knights of the Round?
No, it didn't. And I didn't power it down. I exited out of the game.
Look at the I paused it at the right moment. Look at this. Guys, if you're looking for a Big Blue endorsement, just take a screenshot right here and share this all over the social media platforms. There you go. There you go, 19K Fox. I'm sorry, Michael B. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
You did.
And it was hurtful.
Feelings. I can't remember what I was going to say, but what was I asking 19K Fox?
It was the save. The fact that it didn't save my high score.
Yeah.
So I did a follow-up video about that, and all I did was I exited the game, went to the main menu, went right back into the game, and it was gone.
That's weird. But again, it's a beat 'em up. You really won't need your score saved. I mean, like, it'd be different if you did like a 1 coin challenge and you're like, look at the score I got. I'd be like, man, I'd really be proud of that. But like I always pay attention to it. Like if I go through Final Fight, I'll see if I'll beat my score. But when I play through a beat 'em up, it's more of just turning my brain off and, you know, beating the shit out of some people.
Right. I had some people in the comments of my other video like, hey, does it save? So I wanted to make sure to get that. That's
always a hot button topic when it comes to Arcade1up. Like people are ready to, you know, run to the hills. They're like, does it save high scores? I remember back in the day, 1905, when Gallagher never saved. So
1905.
Well, people want their high scores to save. Mike, come on.
Yeah,
now we put in all that time.
Like Gallagher, you've got to have your high score.
Yes, Gallagher.
But a fighting game, I understand what you're saying. You just want to kick the other person's butt. I don't even know.
Much less important when it's not a classic arcade score chaser.
Well, we're cutting it short on time, 19K Fox. So last question I'm going to ask you. And guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel, especially if you're into Arcade1up content. There's a lot of great content on 19K Fox's channel. Support him, support retro gaming, and let's get him some subs, man. I definitely want to see your channel grow. You're doing great work, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of your channel. So here's my last question for you. All these other cabinets that have been announced, they haven't released yet. Which ones are on your list? Which are the ones that you're going to be getting and that you're potentially going to be recommending to your audience? Go ahead.
And which one is vaporware?
Which one is vaporware? Oh, they're all real. What are you talking about? None of them are fake. What are you talking about? Thanks, obviously, for having me on the channel. I appreciate it. Yeah, swing by the channel, and if you like it, consider subscribing. I have, almost out of obligation, I have The Simpsons on pre-order. I got the $5.29 bundle from Walmart. Let's see if that stands. I hope. I gave that cab a lot of crap because I did not think we were going to get bowling. I thought they were going to switch up the games list. So got to have that one. And beyond that, Killer Instinct is definitely my number one.
I want that.
I got to have that one. I was on the fence with X-Men, but then I saw the price and I'm like, you know what? Let me just not for right now and do something else. Terminator 2. I wanted to diversify the arcade. I want to get a shooter and a driver. Terminator 2, if that thing is real, which I'm pretty sure it is, when it comes out, I'll probably be the first one in line, barring a crazy sticker price, which we all know it's probably going to have. Curious to see if it's going to have another game on it. Ridge Racer, I'm actually excited for.
Okay.
I like that step. I think it signifies that step into 3D, not so much 3D gaming because we had that with the Big Buck Hunter, but when we step into the 3D racers, I'm really excited to see what they do there, especially if we can have a couple different Ridge Racer titles, not just Ridge Racer 1 or 2. So interested to see, because they could really change that. There's some good rally games. There's Rave Racer. There's some good stuff that they could do with a Namco racing game. So anyway, that's definitely so far. That's what I'm jonesing for.
Pole position would be cool. Pole position would be cool. I'd be in for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think pole position will end up on this because Sega, I think it's Sega owns the rights, or Atari owns the rights to the art on the side of the cabinet. So it'd be very difficult for them to make a pole position cabinet. But it's a Bandai Namco game, so could end up on Ridge Racer.
Yep. Real quick, guys, I'm going to have to agree with Tom Garrett. I have my $500 line in the sand. If Killer Instinct is good and runs well, and if I see great reviews that this, it's not going to be performance issues and that the online play is great, even if they charge $600-700 for this cabinet, I'll probably break my line in the sand for that killer, because it's Killer Instinct online played. All my buddies are going to have it. I might as well, get the cabinet as well, right? But minus that, I'm really trying to hold my line in the sand at 500.
It's
19K, 19K Fox. What else you got for us about Arcade1up cabinets you're excited for?
That's really it. Other than I'm waiting for some of these re-releases. Have we really seen the end of Star Wars? I mean, is this really it? Was it a limited run and that's it? That's all we're going to have? I can't. I don't believe that. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to re-release. Whether it's just another standard re-release. I don't know about you. I've got to have a bowling game besides Simpsons Bowling. And maybe Simpsons Bowling is great, but I love one of the cabs that gets the most mileage on it is my Golden Tee. My kids love it, which is kind of, when you think about it, kids golf, they love it. Older guys that are golfers come over to the house, they love it. So it's just, it gets a lot of mileage, and I love bowling games too. So Silver Strike was going to be a thing, and then it wasn't. So I don't know. We'll see. But there's always track and field too. So
I will admit, if they reissued Star Wars with the Wi-Fi, with like the online leaderboards and stuff, like that would be cool.
that'd be
Like,
cool.
That would be really.
That would
really
be cool.
Mike, are you in on that, Mike?
Silver Strike would
No.
be cool.
No?
I wish that comes out. Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to have online Star Wars?
No.
You're trolling us, Mike. Look at, he's trying so hard not to smile. What about you, Carl? You said Silver Strike. You want Silver Strike with Golden Tee? You want a bowling cabinet?
Yeah, I actually modified the computer that's in my toy shack. I still have the image on there. It has bowling, it has all the modern Golden Tee, the Golden Tees, but I couldn't get the trackball to function properly for Golden Tee, so I scratched that project. But yeah, bowling, man, that's the one thing that I'm missing. If they came out, I'm still not convinced that this Simpsons cab is going to have a great bowling game, so I'll have to be proven wrong, and then maybe I'll grab that. But I definitely want a bowling game in my man cave here.
So this question is for both MichaelB, 19K Fox, as well as Carl. I really like that topic. Now, one thing we don't like about Arcade1up is we don't like the excessive, what we call rehashing of cabinets, right? But there are exceptions to that, where there might be a couple of cabinets that are due for a reissue with Wi-Fi, kind of like Star Wars. MichaelB, what else do you think they could bring back that the community might get excited for, versus saying it's a rehash, forget it, we don't want it? What do you think? What do you think would be a good one?
That's a tough question. The easy answer is there's going to be a new Pac-Man cabinet next year with leaderboards. And I'm not making a joke. I'm serious. There is going to be a Pac-Man with leaderboards next year. It's going to happen. Bring back that's a tough one. Star Wars is a really good one. I do hope they re-release Star Wars. Star Wars is an amazing score chasing game. Still my favorite Arcade1up, and I would love to put my scores to the test. Wouldn't really matter. Jennifer, your butt would kick the shit out of all of us, but we can still try. But I don't know of the cabs they release, what else they can bring back, because they've kind of already been there. I think you can expect to see all of the cabinets come back with Wi-Fi at some point. That's the safest thing to say. I don't know if there's going to be anything really exciting. That's in the eye of the beholder, but every cabinet will come back with Wi-Fi as long as it wasn't a commercial failure. So I don't think Rampage sold really well. I don't think Final Fight sold really well. So I don't know if we'll see those cabs again. So,
okay.
I disagree. I think Rampage could make a comeback if they.
What are you, Steven Restalgia this week? You disagree?
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Michael.
I'm just gonna disagree with you on that one, MichaelB. And he told me today. He wrote me. He said, I disagree with you all the time, just to make you hot, right? I was like, I know.
Well, I think there's room for some of the cabinets, say like a Defender, where they actually put the right buttons correct. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a few cabinets where if they just fix the button layout, would be an awesome cabinet. Keep in mind, there's a whole lot of market that doesn't have any of the old, versions. So any of these cabinets, like you said, could be rehashed and they would sell. So that's not an issue, regardless of what the price is. And so, I would definitely like to see all of the cabinets come out with the backlit marquees. You know, that's my big pet peeve of the earlier editions. So I think all of them should be rehashed, and and you guys shouldn't be getting too flustered about it because they're not all made for us diehards. They're for the new fans to be able to walk into the store and see their favorite game that they grew up with and get one home. So.
Michael, go ahead.
So go back to a couple. I forgot one that's 1,000% coming out next year. We can all get excited for it. There's going to be a Mortal Kombat online cab. So everybody who bought the Midway Legacy, enjoy it for while you have it, because you're probably going to be selling it next year when Mortal Kombat Online comes out. The other one that I do expect maybe might come back is Frogger. Believe it or not, if they do a Frogger with the right artwork and then online leaderboards, add a couple other Konami long screen games, what do you call them, vertical games, maybe some Contra in there, and then put the right artwork on the side, they're never going to get the right music, but maybe they'll get everything else.
It's interesting.
Centipede will sell if they put those back out. Without a doubt.
Centipede is coming back out. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to have a horizontal screen. It's going to be a redo of the.
I don't know why they do that.
12-in-1.
That makes no sense.
I know. It's frustrating.
No sense.
Look! You just blew Idle Hand's mind. He was like, I was only kidding about Frogger, but Michael B just confirmed Frogger 2 is on its way.
I would love to see it, man, because I mean, like, also Frogger. I love Frogger, but it's also got that screen filtering, and I'd like to throw that in the ocean.
19K Fox, final cabinet you would like to see them bring back one more time with improvements, and then we'll be cutting the show because we are over our time. Go ahead, buddy.
I think, I kind of, my knee jerk is Final Fight, but I think we're going to see probably a Capcom Legacy reskin, which that one would actually work. That control layout works. It's fine. It's just 2 buttons. It's no big deal. What I want them to see come out with again, I don't know. I think that we've seen Namco, Pac-Man to the nth degree. I don't think they need to redo that anyway. I know that they are, but I'm curious to see what new games that they come out with. I think that everything can kind of benefit from, well, I'll say everything. I think with a giant grain of salt, I think like you could do the high scores Wi-Fi thing with Golden Tee for sure. Even if it's just Golden Tee, I think that would be a big plus. If you've got a central control, you can still use that headphone jack. I think it doesn't get in the way. I don't have to do another dramatization. It's off to the side, so that's good. But I think I don't know. I'm curious to see moving forward. What do we get? You're gonna have to do something different, something new. Maybe Paperboy with an actual handlebar.
That'd be kind of cool.
Nobody wants Gauntlet with 4-player. What's going on here? Out of control.
Well, I wouldn't mind that. I like those kind of games. But it's like, do you think that would be like Frogger, Mike? Like only certain people like that top-down Gauntlet arcade game? You know what I'm saying?
That's a tough call. I don't know what the market will be like on that. I think it might be like Detroit Love. Someone will jump in right away and say, I disagree. Gauntlet would sell through the roof. Maybe Gauntlet Legacy. But it's a tough one. Really tough one.
Because when
a game like Gauntlet, I would like to see, even on this Simpsons cab. If you got a 4-player, put these 4-player games on it versus they put Gauntlet on the 3-player cabinet, the Rampage. It was wacky. I think Gauntlet's a 4-player game.
Well, it's not that simple, right? Like everybody thinks like Arcade1up. I said this on the show when I had John Dion explaining the WrestleFest thing. Everybody thinks like this stuff is simple. Oh, just do a WrestleFest cabinet and throw WrestleFest, Superstars, and then WrestleMania the arcade game on there. They don't think of all the complications that go with that, working with the licensor to try to get approval. I mean, the fact that WrestleMania the arcade game is a Midway game, I think it's Midway, and then the rest of them are Technos games. I mean, you can't get those two people to play together without a lot of work. So everybody comes up with these ideas like, Simpsons should have Sunset Riders and all this other stuff. You got to get Simpsons to agree to have these other games on that cabinet, or whoever owns Simpsons. Like, there's all kinds of licensing nightmares. It's tough. I wish it was that simple. I'd love to have Sunset Riders on the Simpsons cab, but it doesn't sound like we're going to get it. It seems like that kind of stuff is not as easy as we would think.
But they would be cool games if that ever did happen. 19K Fox, what are your social media handles besides it's just youtube.com/19K Fox? But what about on Twitter, Instagram, all that? Is it just at 19K Fox? Is that where people can find you?
It's actually 19K Fox 1. Somebody stole the 19K Fox. I don't know who that guy is, but when I find him, I'm going to kill him. It's Instagram, 19K Fox 1, and 19K Fox 1 on Twitter as well. Those two is where you can find me for sure.
Or when you find him, just give him an Arcade1up Pac-Man cabinet and just drive him.
I would love that. That would be
any of those that go around. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, give us a thumbs up on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well as all our solo channels. Mike, do you got something else before Carl sends us on our way?
Yeah, just really quickly, I apologize. When I mentioned that it doesn't matter about Knights of the Round for keeping scores, I'm not saying that I'm not giving them a pass. I'm just making fun of the fact that nobody really keeps track of scores in a beat 'em up. That's all. 100% should save scores.
I do, Mike. And you are wrong. You are dead wrong. Carl, send them on their way.
Michael B's wrong about everything today, so let's just get that out there. Hey, guys, we appreciate you. Uh-oh. You got to mute me now. I'm making all kinds of noise.
Disaster. We're falling into this.
Guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Until next time, we'll see you on the web.
You're dead wrong, Mike. I want my high scores on beat 'em up games. How dare you try to take that away from me? Oh, crap. We're still live.